Hi, I'm Rowan Lewis from Lewis Cleaning Services, and my business is pretty much a window cleaning business. Now, in my line of work, you probably have seen people cleaning windows. They use a long telescopic pole with the water coming out. And many people ask, how does it work? Well, it uses reverse osmosis water, which has been deionized, had all the impurities stripped out of it. But I'm often getting asked, do I buy the water? Do I produce it? Why does it have to be special water? So I thought, I'm in my garage, we're on a nice cold rainy December day, and I thought I'd take the opportunity to actually just show you guys how I produce the water. So one of the first questions I often get asked is, do I buy the water or do I produce it? Well, I actually produce my own water. You can buy the water in. There's a lot of places popping up like petrol stations, same type of thing, but instead of petrol they're selling pure water. So you pretty much turn up in your van, you fill it up, and then you pay with your card. People who do car valeting, people who do window cleaning, people with tropical fish, they will buy that water. However, for a full-time window cleaning business, it's not very cost effective. So you could be spending probably in excess of £30 a day purchasing that water. You've also then got to factor in the half-an-hour drive to the place. You've got to actually fill up, drive back. There might be downtime, the machine might not be working. So for me, if you do the maths, that could equate to a couple of £100 a week and maybe 5 or 6 hours of your time a week. It's not really cost effective to be buying the water in. So early on, I decided to actually produce my own water, and by doing that, I can guarantee that my filters are thoroughly changed. The quality of the pure water, I can check that it's actually pure, and it just gives me more control to provide a better service, and it minimises the overheads really. So obviously when the customer wants to have a quote, I haven't got to factor in purchasing expensive water, so my prices can be a little bit more competitive like that. Okay, so how do we even fill the van up? Well, as you can see over there, we have a big thick hose, very similar to the one you get in a petrol station. Obviously the difference with that one, it's connected to a rubber hose which runs all the way the length of the garage, and then there's a pump submerged in here, and I can activate a switch down there and it will turn the pump on and it will pump the water into the tank which is in the van. So that's pretty much how we transfer it to the van. The hose does actually reach outside as well, so I have a driveway out there and we can actually have two vans parked simultaneously and fill one after the other. So that's how we fill the vans. The water production, I'm running a reverse osmosis system, and once it exits that, it runs down this blue line here, and there's actually a float valve in that tank, and obviously all these tanks are connected, so it gives me a nice big reserve of water. So if there's ever a problem with the main supply, or we're in a heat wave and we have to limit our water consumption, well, we've always got a big reserve of water so we can keep working. As this water gets to around here, the float valve will shut and it will block any more water being produced or wasted. So you're never going to get it overflowing and wasting water. So how does the water actually become pure? Well, if we look over here, we have this is a reverse osmosis system, and we have a few different stages to the filtration. So we have a sediment filter on the left. Now what that does, it filters out all the sediment, any algae or anything like that that's in the mains water. Then it goes through a carbon filter, through a charcoal filter, and once it's left the charcoal filter, then it actually enters this here, which is a reverse osmosis membrane. So the RO membrane will effectively split the water into two outputs. So you get pure water out of one and wastewater out of the other. So there is a bit of wastage on filtering this water. But what I've done in order to minimize the impact that we're having on the water supply, the wastewater that comes out of this membrane here, as you can see, the waste comes out and it actually goes into another membrane. So The water then goes in there and it gets further filtered out. So more RO pure water comes out and tees into the original line. And then the waste from that one goes back into another membrane, even further reducing the wastewater and giving us as much pure water as we can get, basically. Now, once the water comes out of those 3 membranes, it's then run through this DI vessel. Now, that's more of a last polish. So I'll give you an idea. We have tap water. It has 70 parts per million of impurities, which is actually very, very clean, but it's still not quite clean enough for window cleaning. London, they have about 500 or 600 TDS, so we got very good water where we are. Yeah, that 70 needs to be under 10 in order to clean the windows. So the ROs, when they come out of the membranes, that 70 will be down as far as 2. So they're very good, but there's still some impurities that come through. And then when it goes through that DI, then it takes it down from 2 to 0. So by the time it's coming out of this blue line, we have 100% 0 TDS water. Now, there is a way of testing that it's not just theory, and it is actually doing its job. So in the van, I have a TDS meter. It looks a little bit like a temperature gauge, and you just dip it in the water. There's 2 little prongs on it, and it detects in the water any impurities, and it will give you a reading then for how pure or impure the water is. So I hope that's answered some questions or some queries you might have had. And just for the TDS meter, they come in a little leather packet, but there's the little prongs I was on about. So you turn that on, you dip it in, and I could show you, but basically you dip it in the tank and it says 0, you dip it into tap water and it says 70. If the filtration system is starting to need replacing, you've got to check it regularly. Because I've got such a big reserve, I won't get spikes in the water purity because it gets diluted, but I'll check it. If it's starting to rise to 1 or 2 TDS, it's still well below that 10 limit where we can't use it anymore for window cleaning. Once it gets to about 1 or 2, I will be straight in and I'll change them filters so we have the best possible water for our job. Now, I'm a passionate window cleaner. My granddad was a window cleaner, my dad, and I am a window cleaner, so I can talk about window cleaning all day long. But I think I'll end the video there, and I hope that's answered some of your questions. Now, if you found that video useful, or you are a customer of my business, I'd really appreciate it if you left me a review on Facebook. If not a review, and you're not a customer, that's fair enough. Just drop us a like down below so more people get to see how us window cleaners operate. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra.